mean, if that were any better, we'd have a copyright strike.
Oh my gosh.
If that were any
That's why we play it in the wrong key. Just
that's why it's an E.
the radar.
Yeah, right. That's why it's an E. Guitar Friends, episode 8, and here we are. Here we are. My, how far we've come. I'm back, HW.
Seuss.
John 2.
Here we go.
8 already.
8 already.
Wow.
8.
Flying by.
We're great. Yeah, there you go. Lots to talk about, but John, you have been buying some Harley Benton guitars.
Yeah.
It's funny. I knew a Harley Benton in college.
You did
That
not.
can't be right.
He's a Chinese man.
Given name, Harley Benton.
Yeah, I wonder if he
made him. Did he live in Indonesia?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now we know.
Is he from Indonesia?
That's really good. You got HW good on that one. Can I know how
if this part's still in, it means I didn't edit much of it.
Yeah. We'll see how the week goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Wait, so how did this begin for you, this Harley Benton thing? Because we got one, right, for the Les Paul.
we got some Harley Bentons, and then we started chatting, and obviously they're super popular, but you brought one over the other day that was great, and now you have more,
Well,
and I want to look at them.
Yeah,
what
what
happened
happened?
was, if you guys remember, I was watching a video somewhere, and they were talking about Sire guitars. Mm-hmm. By the way,
Okay.
I'm always on the hunt for, like, what's the cheapest guitar
Best bang for the buck.
that's still good?
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm after.
And those Sire basses, like the Marcus Miller signature Sire bass, right?
I don't know.
It's like kind of a lot
not
of
a bass
bass
player.
players view those as like this is an import guitar that can hang with any.
Well, so that's the
American.
thing. So a Sire guitar, it's like you can get, they're like $600 to $700.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I remember sending it to you, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Was it a Tim Pierce video? He did one on Sire guitars. Was
Ooh,
it not
could-
that?
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
one. It could have been.
I keep hearing about him.
I can't remember who it was, but the question was, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And your whole thing is like, you don't really love natural wood guitars,
Right. Just in general.
just in general. You want them to be like, you're like, ugh, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
So, not that your opinion matters that much
No,
to me.
it should not.
But then I was on the hunt for like,
Right.
well, $600-700 for like an okay guitar is like too much. You know what I mean? You can
I
get
hear
a
that.
you can get a really good Squire for 6-7, or you could get a
Yeah.
really decent Fender.
Yeah, that's true.
know.
that's true.
So then I was like looking on Reverb, just like sorting by price.
Yeah,
Harley Benton comes up, and I was like, dang, they have a lot of models.
yeah.
So
A ton.
so
That's
many.
confusing
They have
now.
all of them.
They're like our generation's Ibanez.
Yeah.
Just way too many models.
They
Yeah.
have like, they have offset ones, they have traditional telly ones, they have traditional Strat ones.
Yeah.
So I brought, it's a telly with 2 humbuckers and a trem. A Wilkinson trem. I'm like, this guitar, it was $230 shipped.
Yes.
Wait,
There's
$230?
$230.
$230.
This guitar has
If I order right now lunch for all of us on DoorDash, it'll be that much. It would, right?
Yeah.
for sure.
If we
been
got
proven.
poke bowls,
No, there-
sushi.
it's like with
Tip.
the bridge and
We're kidding, guys. It
and
won't
the-
actually be that.
yeah,
but-
with the bridge and the heart. I mean, there's $150 in hardware of this guitar.
Right.
Right. It came with a neck. It came with a
And
body.
that's your question. It has everything.
Right.
It has neck and
You can
frets
plug it
and-
in?
It has locking tuners. It's
Wow.
it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, so then I bought another one.
Yeah.
And then I bought a third one as well.
Are these all from Reverb?
Oh yeah, they're all from like the official Harley
I gotcha.
Benton.
Okay.
If you buy on the official Harley Benton shop, it's shipping from a warehouse here where Harley Benton fills their orders,
Right.
which I think is the same warehouse. If you order on Tomon and they see a delivery address for the United States, it's getting filled out of the Tomon warehouse here in the United States.
Yeah,
I'd like to find that warehouse.
Let's
in Connecticut.
let's
where they
find
ship
let's
from.
find these guitars.
Let's do it.
They're right there. Let's grab them.
Susie, can you grab some of those?
Grab the one in that one first. This is the one that you guys are least likely to enjoy. I'll just say that. So this is
Wait, yeah, I can do your reaction here.
Oh gosh.
This is
This is so. Wait. Why is it all scratched
this
up?
is very
That's
John.
from you?
I haven't taken the plastic off of it yet.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
This
I was
is
looking-
very John.
Right.
is
So
that in
I'm
the
like
shot over there?
what guitar can I tune to drop C?
Oh no.
And it has active pickups, and it's very simple. This was the cheapest one, by the way.
Everything is black on this.
There's not a single
Except for
thing
that.
that's not black except for the volume.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
This is very John 2.
I mean, even look
know?
at the back, like that
yeah.
is black.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it has active pickups, so it's like going to be a lot for this AC30. So it sounds, drop C is like the best tuning, by the way. But we'd need some like proper metal profiles.
Okay.
No, just metal out on this.
Well, I don't think that's...
Go ahead. Go for it.
That's not how it works, though. No, adding overdrive is not going to help.
What if it's a lot though?
I don't think that's how it works, you guys.
I want to point out that the input, just the input of the Kemper is
it's maxing out.
Let me tell you how simple Tone is. It just scooped all the mids out and added some high-end fizzly stuff. There you go. Now it sounds like a different amp.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's great.
how much?
wow.
I think this was under $200.
No,
That
there's
is incredible.
No way.
Incredible.
Yeah.
How's it
look, okay, let me be frank though.
Yes. How's it feel? Like how? Yeah. What's the
Okay,
the back?
when you pull these things out of the box,
Yes.
they don't feel good. The strings are terrible, and the frets are in desperate need of some kind. I bought it's like a rubberized abrasive set that's meant to like polish guitar frets.
Right.
The guitars are almost unplayable
How's
until
the
you
setup?
do that.
Like intonation and all that. When you,
I mean, obviously, I'm tuning it to drop C, so I had to
you adjust it.
I had to intonate this.
How long did the work take you?
An hour or two,
Okay.
if you like working on your own guitar.
Yeah.
If you've
so
never
a little
done
bit
it,
of knowledge,
it can be.
and you can clean up whatever you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
man.
It's so fun.
Okay. On to the next. I mean, instantly,
Pretty
I'll
cool.
tell you that guitar looks like it costs more than.
$230.
Yeah, way more.
And then the other one, maybe.
I know.
Yeah,
look,
hold that
it-
up, Suze.
it
Hold that
has
up
like
so we can
a-
see it. Like this, like, yeah, there's a little like maple binding on the side, right?
Yep.
And it's just double hum. I mean, that looks, I feel like that's in the style of like a Sir.
It's like a wannabe Pete
true.
Thorne guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Play that a little more.
And
I want to
this
hear
thing
that.
is
Like,
cool too. I don't know if you saw the like
Yeah,
the
that
different
little
color up
cutaway.
there. Yeah.
play a little more, like a couple of those pickup positions. And we're on a matchless BCM 1.3 from the Kemper. I mean, it sounds good.
Yeah.
It hits my ears a little bit like when we went to the neck. Like, you could probably benefit from a little extra clarity there, which is like always
Yeah.
the thing with like
For
lower
cheap.
end
Yeah.
pickups. You get
Yeah.
kind of a little muffly.
Yeah, the neck
You
is
know.
the weakest part of that guitar.
Yeah.
It's not unusable.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
just dark.
but it's not
not.
quite as balanced as
Right.
like.
But
you
I
know.
won't use it. It's not unusable. One could.
One could use it, but it, it's got features though. It's got the locking tuners. It's got, it's
How
got
much-
a push. It's got a push pull.
It's tap that.
Tap that.
Tap that.
No joke.
That's actually very impressive.
If you do the neck pickup tapped, I think sounds pretty good. Because it brings out a little bit of the low end that makes it a little muddy.
This makes me want one of these guitars, and I've been looking for guitars to put Lambertone cremas in.
That would be a good.
This makes me want to do something like that.
The difficult part of buying a really cheap guitar,
Yes.
and then putting pickups in it that cost more than the guitar itself.
Yes.
That's a dilemma. It's like, is it worth it?
Is it?
Nobody knows.
If you have at least your amount of knowledge, where you can spend an hour adjusting the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's a no-brainer, right?
I've intonated all of these things.
Yeah.
And I've, polished the frets a little bit.
It feels like an hour's worth of work.
Yeah.
Whatever. And you kind of, it's enjoyable to like kind of see what
The
it
neck feels good.
Yeah.
Like,
Plays good.
plays good. Yep.
Now, if you're not confident that you could do that, or if you're not confident that you would know what it needs, like you were talking about, like polishing the frets.
Right.
If you've never polished frets, I've never polished frets really. I've used.
It's not rocket science.
Right. I mean, you're just using a polishing cloth, huh?
No, it's like
like
they
a
look like
compound
big
and
erasers.
Okay.
You can buy them on Amazon. Okay. You have to put masking tape on the
tape the whole
fretboard.
thing. Yeah.
So you tape up the fretboard, leaving just the frets exposed, and then it's just like they're really simple. It's just like
I've done steel wool or what's the backside of the thing called? The backside of the sponge that you buy that stuff.
Oh,
It's on the backside of a sponge, the rough stuff there.
Okay.
And
yeah, I thought of that.
Yeah, you can do that on fret. If you get a little oxidation, that'll take it right off.
Right.
Stainless steel does. Are those stainless steel frets?
Great question. I have no idea.
For nickel, the backside of the sponge there will work well.
I mean, look, you're not gonna like it. The frets kind of are what they are. You're just taking off a little bit of that, like
that rough,
the roughness.
Yeah.
You're not going to transform something into like the most best playing guitar in the world.
All right, we played this. I thought it was great. That sounds great. I have no complaints about this one.
Yep.
How much was this again?
That was $230 shipped.
$230 shipped. The other one's also $230 shipped.
Yeah,
kind of pick your poison. They're stylistically a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not really though. They're all black.
The next one is stylistically different.
Is it also black?
Nope.
I want to hear the rest of those
More?
pickups.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear that.
Oh, there's 5.
Look, there's all sorts.
You can tap the humbucker too.
No, and we're tapping now.
Oh my.
So it just taps the humbucker. So do like position 2.
Oh, this just goes here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is actually very impressive. That is a very impressive.
But like, how does the neck feel though?
It's great, man.
It's a roasted maple neck.
Roasted
Yeah,
maple.
dude.
Look, I guess today's episode is sponsored by Harley Benton because this is turning into a pretty glowing review. How much on this one?
Again, it was $230. Look, these. I mean, hold on. Well, this one I think was a B stock one, so I think it was cheaper.
Sure.
Gosh.
Yeah. Can you see anything wrong with that guitar though?
Let me try
This
the
is
trim.
something I really notice a lot, huh?
I didn't try the trim. You said it was better. This one.
That's
Yeah,
a Wilkinson.
easy.
There's a Wilkinson
Yeah, they're both Wilkinson.
bridge on there. Wilkinson trim.
Wow.
Dude, I mean, look again.
Like a pick guard would help.
Yeah. Again, I would be replacing those pickups. You know.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna. That guitar's not gonna hang without pickups with a $2,000. Like, which am I gonna grab? They're both sitting right there. I'm gonna play that guitar, but when I leave the house, I'm grabbing the other one.
Sure.
But if those are pickups that I really like, you know. And by the way, I didn't hear anything I didn't like right here. I'm just assuming. I'm assuming that I could.
Yeah, it would be better.
Yes,
with
that I could
upgraded-
upgrade the pickup.
Yeah,
but
if
but,
you-
that's,
look,
but
if
for
you-
$230, I mean, we can't expect a $230 guitar to go up against a $2,700
That's the
guitar.
problem, right? It's like it does the Sir sound 10 times better,
Well, no, of course not.
right? And I think that's where I always, and we've had this discussion.
Yes.
For
But this
we've
is
had this discussion
Ad nauseum.
so many
Yes.
times over the years that we've known each other. And look, it's super fun to be able to buy
Yes.
more guitars, have more sounds, experiment with more things, right?
Good point. Yeah.
So
the hang up I only get with a budget guitar is if I put in the money, is that actually going to cure the gas? So like, for example, I had a PRS Les Paulish guitar that I had for years. I paid $1,600 for it. For a decade, it cured my Les Paul desires. You know what I mean? I didn't want anything else. I wasn't interested. Now I finally got a couple Les Pauls that I think are great.
Understatement of the year. You got like 10 Les Pauls. There's a video about it.
one of
Go
them was
on.
a Harley Benton.
But some of them were budgets that I did for the video.
yeah.
But really, there were two Japanese, like a Greco
Yeah.
and another one's a
Tokai, right?
a Tokai.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're great. But honestly, I don't need them. I didn't need them. It was just I was interested. I'm more interested because they were older Japanese guitars than like I need a Les Paul. And even so, I think I've played it one time out of the house.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, like, I want what I really want is the budget guitar that if I do a little work to it, I go, this guitar hangs now. I can throw in other pickups, and now it's like I would never go spend $2,000 on a guitar to replace this because I'm just not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
But what I don't want is, you know, you put in some pickups, and now you put in $500 worth of work.
and it still doesn't.
And yeah, you're at $750, and it's like I can still replace it with a $1,200 guitar. Because at that point, I'm like, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Like I need that $750 guitar to really hold up on like a $1,200-$1,500 guitar, or else I think about replacing it.
And that's, I mean, I don't know. For
Because
me,
then I'm like, just sell it, a little more money, and it's better.
right.
Whereas, but this, I'm tempted to buy some of these.
I mean, look, you're not going to put this against a Sir.
Yeah,
And it's going to win in every area.
sure.
Right. But it plays great. I mean, again, I had like on this guitar, I had to do the fret stuff. I had to do the intonation. But I also had to like raise the action a little bit.
Yeah.
The action was too low like off the factory or whatever.
Sure.
So I had to raise the action a little bit, but I think it plays excellent.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute garbage.
Yeah.
They
you
really
know.
are. They
so
really,
Wow.
some of them, they were, yeah. Although, Suze, you have a Squire Strat that we've
never featured it.
We're gonna do a whole video on it because it's so like Suze bought it. How much did you get it for?
It was $40. I gave him $40. I gave him two $20 bills. I had it on me. I was just driving by.
I don't know why that's funny.
Yeah.
That's literally the cost of a pizza.
Oh yeah. I mean now DoorDash is out the window now.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and the bag was $25. I passed on the bag.
Too much.
It was a nylon bag. Too much. Yeah.
Sir, can I include a calzone? Breadsticks?
Right.
No,
it was in my neighborhood. I walked it home. Amazing.
Over your shoulder?
No bag.
Yeah, just
holding it. Yeah.
No bag required.
No, gosh.
But you put pickups in there?
No. Stock.
Okay, we're going to have to explore that.
I feel like, look, I think the thing is there's for sure going to get... You're going to have a lot of opinions from a lot of different people about, our expensive guitar is worth it. And I think that a lot of times the answer is yes. Right? The build quality, is that guitar going to be as playable as it is right now in 50 years? Maybe. I don't know. Like, guitars are actually very simple things. They're wood and
steel.
Some steel in the right places. And with modern like CNC machining and all of that, we've removed the ability for like people in other countries to learn how to like handcraft guitars because they're not handcrafting them.
Right.
They're sticking
it's a machine there or a machine here.
Yeah.
And we know this where we're all from. We know the distance between Ensenada and Corona.
Right.
And it's not a big distance.
It's not a big distance.
You literally, a surfer would travel to both those destinations who lives anywhere in the area just for like a little trip because they want to surf. Like it's not you just get in your car and go.
And that's Gibson.
And that's American and Mexican Fender. If you didn't understand
Gibson and Fender, they're all using CNC machines anyway on like the standard line.
Right.
And so, all you're really paying for is the cost, the difference in the cost of labor.
And you're paying for the quality control level.
Right.
Right. What is the level? What is their tolerance?
Yeah.
Imported stuff, cheaper stuff, the tolerances are wide. They just are. And they're going good enough.
Right.
At the difference when you're Fender, custom shop gets first choice of wood.
Right.
They're not throwing out wood that barely makes that doesn't make the custom shop level. That's going into an American Fender.
Right.
And so when they're buying wood, the wood gets pulled out. I know at the custom shop for Fender, there's a big stash of wood that's all been approved. And then for every build, you go and grab your wood. And it's all like, so the team wood, the master build, it's all the same wood. I mean, it's the builder choosing what they want for that guitar from the same pile of wood. That pile of wood is searched for, found, whatever. But if something is wrong, it's not like that's going to go somewhere else. And the parts on the Mexican and American stuff are going back and forth. There's Mexican-made parts on your American Fender.
But I've purchased Fender guitars that I liked way less than that.
I agree
right?
with that.
For $1,000.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just the thing. Like, is every single Harley Benton going to beat every single Fender of similar price? No, probably not. I don't know. Like, I bought 3. They're all pretty good. I think the black one is probably the weakest of all of them.
The black
The
one.
all black?
The all black one with the
I was
active
like, hold on.
pickups. I think that one's probably the weakest one. I think this is the best one. I think I got lucky with this one.
Did we talk about the color?
No.
It's like a purple.
Yeah,
Purple pink?
they called it dark pink.
Oh, I could see that.
When I showed my daughter this guitar, she said, "Ew, please do not buy that."
Oh.
What
Then when it
does she
arrived-
know, John?
Yeah.
What does she know?
Did you see it in person?
And then I showed it to my wife, and she goes, "Ooh, that one."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little millennial Gen
Right,
Z.
yeah. But
right.
it's I don't know. I love it. I've never had a guitar like this. I've never had a guitar this color, that's for sure. But I've never had a guitar with the baked maple, which I really love.
You gonna play this at church?
Yeah, I would
You
love
could
to.
turn this into a TikTok, by the way, of like at your house. Like we should go do this. It'll be your wife in like skinny jeans and a Stanley cup. Right? It's like millennial mom. I love that. Be like Gen Z daughter. She got like super wide leg jeans. She's like in the middle of a TikTok dance, like chunky white shoes.
Right.
Right. And it's like, I hate that.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew. The actual phrase she used was "ew, red flag." That's
my
what
Oh
she
my God,
said.
that's even more. That's even more.
Wow.
I know.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You're making me scared. I have a daughter now.
Oh yeah. Well, you have a while. The trends will be completely different by
Yeah,
the
who
time
knows
your
by
daughter.
then?
I know she's like Gen Alpha.
Is that what it's called now?
Well,
we're
it's
just making
after
things-
Z.
I mean,
they're calling it Gen Alpha.
I mean, they've always
Yeah.
been made up, but now we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here for
Yeah.
like generational
Yeah,
names.
no, you're right.
We went from the greatest generation. That's what they were called at one point.
Yeah.
To just like,
Well,
Greek
we went
letters.
X, and then Y is millennial, but we said millennials because it was a millennium era, and then
Yeah.
Z.
And then they just started with the alphabet.
Yeah, then Z, and now we'll go Alpha. They won't do Beta.
They
You
should
know,
though.
they'll call it Fighting Fish.
Wow. And then,
All right.
then
They're
leopard.
not. You can't stick two of them in a tank.
yeah. You can't put two of them together. They work from home only. It's just like,
That
they don't
may
even-
not be too
well,
far off.
and they're not even. They're like going to be past the. I mean, they're the iPad kids. They will be the iPad kids. You know?
Right.
Like you can't even.
Interesting. What are you on? Just like
The bridge. What?
no.
Sounds better. I mean, four?
Dude, that's not a strap. Oh, it was.
Oh, get it on camera. Oh.
I literally. Okay, I'm gonna put this in because I went to the bathroom. I heard. And I went, that sounds like a killer Strat tone. That's an awesome Strat. I come back in. It's you on the
me on-
actual search Strat. So listen,
Wow.
I could hear that, man.
Yeah, oh,
that was a
yeah.
real difference.
It's
That was
different.
like, I was like, that it.
Right.
I was about to get really excited. Now that's
Yeah.
still great.
Well, I want to hear it. In
Yes. Okay, let's do this compare. Why not?
Okay.
because that's the thing.
So what? You're on the fourth position there.
yeah, the bridge in the middle or the neck in the middle. I mean,
That's good.
It's-
That's not
yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
What
Listen,
is it?
we're
It's
talk-
like
we're
this
talk-
one's
Better.
This one's like grindier or like
It's just
shrill
five
almost?
guys and
Yeah, a
burger,
little
Five
Bit.
Guys McDonald's. It's the same thing, but there's a big
same-
difference, and not
Yeah.
that big of a difference.
You're
It's a
right.
burger.
Yeah.
Right.
I could be happy with both.
yeah.
One's what the price is
$3,
reflecting.
$10.
Five Guys is 10 times the price,
Exactly.
right? I mean,
Yeah. No, that's
Five
right.
Guy burger. What's that going to be? $11?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get your
No
toppings on
fries.
it.
I mean,
pay
look,
extra for fries.
maybe
McDonald's $2.
in a
$2.50
few
for
more
a cheeseburger.
in a few more Guitar Friends episodes, maybe I'll come back with new pickups in one of these guitars, and we'll do
Oh.
another comparison.
Dude,
I
that would
think-
be fun because there's some pickups that are interesting and there's a lot of good sounding stuff out there right now.
Yeah.
And even if you went, dude, I mean, how would that sound with a custom shop Fender pickups? You know what I mean?
right.
What would you honestly put in here, like to keep the cost down?
So I don't know. I don't know.
Like Duncan's.
Seymour Duncan.
Seymour Duncan off the shelf,
Yeah.
like still they're like 59 is a killer sounding
like
PIF.
$90 a pickup.
I
No,
think they're
that's-
115.
So here's the thing. I
Okay.
was looking at Seymour Duncan
Yeah.
humbucker sets.
Are they all up now?
They're all like $250.
Sets though. Yeah.
for the set.
For
Well, I
two
don't-
humbuckers.
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
right.
just replace
but
one
like,
of them.
But like 120 a pickup is about
Yeah.
for some of them. I bet the 59 might be a little less.
I just feel like the cheapest ones on Reverb are like over $250 for a set of
Interesting.
Seymour Duncan.
Yeah, I bet. Well, stuff's all going up. Like
Yeah.
like a Duncan Antiquity set, I could see that. But
Yeah.
yeah, stuff is just.
No,
going
I'm saying
up.
like it's like the Seth Lover. Like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like that
Yeah, just
pickup
right
set.
off-
That's
yeah.
like the cheapest one. It's
Yeah, yeah.
$250.
Same
The
cost as the
Antiquity
guitar.
ones are like over $300.
Yeah, I see.
Wow.
Yes.
And my Les Paul, I put like a set of the 59
Yes.
humbuckers in it.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
But they were not. I don't know what I paid, but it was not $300.
And you could go get all that standard like DiMarzio, Seymour Duncan stuff. You can get on Reverb for a good price. And if you know a little, like if you can go buy for a song like Bernie VH1 pickups from the 80s that people yanked out of Bernie. They sound great. You could go buy like the pickups that people have pulled out of those Tokais, and they're Duncan Antiquities. They're Duncan Antiquities that like made in Japan. I don't know what that means, but my Les Paul sounds incredible, and I would take it all day long. Like you could buy pickups like that for probably $40 to $60 a pickup, loose, and then you'd have attach a longer wire if you need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what would you put in there? I don't,
Maybe I'll put I don't know.
It depends on what you want. Depends on what you want. You could buy a Sur set. You could buy that pickup set, put it in there.
I looked into it. Yeah.
That's also something you could find used, I bet, because a lot of people switch stuff around in Surs, and you could probably find a good deal.
Yeah.
Used.
Well, we'll see.
These are awesome. I might be buying a Harley Benton. I got my eye on a silver sparkle kind of thing. Okay, last week we speculated about Fender potentially charging for Tone Master Pro presets. That was my speculation. There's a video on the channel if you watched last episode. Fender has come out, I like to think because of our video, and said that's not happening. So that's not happening. But, maybe one day it will. With all of this changing, there's all the, Tone Master Pro's new. I'm not sure if you guys have seen Tonocracy. This is Atomic's new thing. You remember Atomic?
Oh, yeah.
They have now released a software that looks like a cross between ToneX.
Did they have something called Amplifier? Is that what that was?
Yeah. They were one of the early modeling kind of deals.
Right.
And I was speaking to that gentleman. He was telling me about this product, and now it's out. The software that they've released looks like a cross between, imagine if Axe Effects with some draw your signal chain, do your kind of sound effects, met ToneX, where you can do some captures. It also plays NAM, Neural Ant Modeler captures. Similar to ToneX pricing, you can sort of get these different levels where you can try stuff out. There's more premium levels where everything's unlocked and stuff. And I'm excited to check it out and try it out. Hardware's coming. They're a hardware company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, and this is their software. So I imagine just like ToneX, you get a user base going on the software side. Now there's a healthy user base of tones. Now you release the hardware. Then the masses come in. They already see something there that's built, right? Here's my question. With everything changing in the digital landscape, Here's my real question. With everything sort of changing in the digital landscape, new products coming out, Tonocracy, Tone Master Pro, what does Helix 2 need to have? Like, I think a lot of people are waiting for Helix 2. I think if a lot of Kemper users are just resolved to be like, Kemper can do whatever they want. They are in their own brain space. They may never release another Kemper. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like something you implant in your head. It'll be something off the wall.
Knowing Christoph Kemper, that's probably
right.
But Helix 2, we've got things that are borrowing from the Helix. A lot of people are waiting. What features now does Helix 2 have to have to be successful?
When did the Helix come out?
About a decade ago. After the Kemper, but it's been like a decade. Maybe 9 years.
Kemper was first.
Kemper was first.
Dang. Whew,
Helix started production. When I say started production, they first started theorizing the Helix before 2008. And they wanted to put something out at that level.
Right.
Now, in fairness, I want to line in the sand. I'm not saying the technology they released, they started back then. But they started designing a product. What would a product look like? What would it be like?
Right.
They then sold to Yamaha. They came out with the HD 500 because the economy tanked. They wanted to go mid-level price. They then took that project, moved it out. That becomes the Helix.
So my first actual guitar rig, half stack cabinet was a Line 6. I forget what it was called now, but it was like a head and a cabinet. It was like the Line 6.
The Veta?
HD. No,
or the Flextone?
No.
HD
maybe
something.
HD 500 or something like that.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was when I was touring in a band.
Yeah.
That was I spilled Dr. Pepper in the top of it.
That's great.
And that was the end of my Line 6 days.
Wow.
It fried on the stage. I had to borrow someone's. Then I had a Hughes and Kettner for a long time. But so Line 6 has been around. They were like the first. That's why that's why I'm shocked actually that the Helix didn't come out until after the Kemper because all like Line 6 had been doing modeling. They were the first ones.
They had other stuff. I mean, look, the DL4 was historic. They had it.
I had that.
They had, and
Everyone did,
obviously they did the Pod HD500, Pod 2.0, Pod 2.0 XL.
Yeah.
What does Helix 2 have to have?
So that's
Yeah.
What is like? We've seen new features come out, sharing on the cloud. Marketplace type stuff, capture tech, a bunch of options with signal chain routing, tons of DSP, spillover. What does Helix 2 have to have that is now normalized that it maybe they don't have yet? Like, what do we think it's going to have?
I have one idea, but I'm interested to see what other people think first.
Well, I think capture tech for me, like
I agree.
that's been the line in the sand for me has been those two types of technologies,
Yes.
so like Helix, Axe on this side,
Yes.
Quad Cortex Kemper on this side.
Yeah. And Axe has the tone match,
Sure.
which is interesting. Which I did a video on the patent that Cliff has, and it's interesting. I'm not a patent attorney, so people are going to jump in the comments. You're an idiot, but okay, shut up. It's an interesting patent from what I can tell. It has to do with taking an existing model, listening to an input, and making changes so that it matches the other thing. And it talks about where it does that and how it does that. At first glance, you might go, well, that's what the Kemper does. I don't know that that's what the Kemper does, even though I've heard Cliff on those forums say a lot, that's the Kemper, and he even jumped out and said when Kemper added the EQs, the
liquid
profiling, that it violated his patent, and then he never said anything about it again. So I don't know if he jumped out, didn't understand it, or didn't know what they were doing. Somehow this capture tech is different.
Okay.
These aren't like existing models in the sense, or else they should be able to go after everyone and say you can't do this. But no one, I haven't seen those lawsuits. I don't know. So like, it's always made me wonder if maybe that's why we never saw anything, because it kind of seems like, with the exception of Kemper, unless you do machine learning, it's kind of the only capture tech that everyone's jumping on. Everyone's on this machine learning AI capture tech.
What if Line 6 goes to the developer that developed NAM
Yeah.
and says, hey, Steve, here's a giant check, right? And we want to put your technology.
It's open source, so they don't even need to.
Oh, then that's even worse.
They can just make it play.
Yeah.
Tonocracy added.
Is using it.
Yeah, the new Atomic thing. Tonocracy
added that.
They have their own captures, and I think they have their own models, or maybe the captures, but they're using the term scheme accurate.
Okay.
Schematic,
Right.
scheme accurate.
Yeah.
But they have NAM models. You can load in NAM models, and it adds functionality. It'll play your NAM models at different sample rates, which the current NAM player does not do.
Wow.
So, and you can add effects. It's native, like
Right.
it makes sharing easier, maybe. So, one company's already doing it. Line 6 could do it.
Yeah. They should.
To me,
honestly,
I think it's got to have capture tech.
Yeah.
It's got to have some sort of capture tech or referencing. I don't know if that violates the Fractal patent or not. It's got to have a touch screen.
Yeah.
But it's got to have, to me now, better visualization. I think you got to see the gear.
Like the Fender.
Like the Fender.
Master,
I think the thing that Fender really did right is you see that gear and it feels like you own it. I think it's a really profound thing, actually.
Well, so I was going to say, I think it needs to be smaller. I think it needs to be a lot smaller, and it needs to have more DSP.
Sure.
I feel like that's one of the big things that you see now. Like the Quad Cortex is a lot smaller.
Sure.
I mean,
But nothing as small as the HX Stomp, right? I mean, the HX Stomp is like the
but
little
it doesn't
brother.
have the capability that the full Helix. We need the full Helix. We actually need more than what the full Helix is capable of now.
But also in a small. So you know
also
who
in a
did this?
smaller
Boss
package.
did this with their GT1000. There's a GT1000 full pedal board, and there's a GT1000 core, it's the entire thing in the size of like their delay unit. It's the
Right.
entire thing. You don't have as many buttons,
Right.
but they're like all the functionality, same exact thing. We just took away all the
Yeah.
ins and outs and stuff.
Okay. Huh.
But I feel that's what I was going to say. I mean, because I think that like, yeah, things like touchscreen and all of the user interface things, I feel like those. This is like the hard part for me. Is what is this unit built for? Is it built to be on a stage and be stepped on, or is it built to be on your desk and touched?
Yeah.
And I feel like we're trying to optimize for both of those things, you know? But they're not really that good at either. And that's actually, I think, one pro of things like the Quad Cortex and the Helix is that there's not as many things to get in the way, right?
Well, you know, the Helix has that stupid foot edit mode where you can actually select a parameter and edit it with the expression pedal.
Yeah,
which is like,
no one's done that.
you know what that reminds me of?
In
I got
real
in my
life.
buddy's BMW, and if you want to turn up the music, there's a camera watching you. You go like this.
Stop.
No.
I'm not kidding.
You
That's on
gesture.
high-end BMWs. You pretend that you're grabbing a dial and turning it.
No.
And it's like, whoa. I'm not trying to learn sign language to communicate with my car.
Right.
How about I just push the button?
What was so wrong
How
with
about I
that?
touch a touch
Yeah,
screen? It's not easier to just go like this to
my
pantomime.
I'm sorry. As a software developer myself,
It's the worst idea.
it's like that's an idea.
Germans
it's
came up with that.
No, it's an idea that one engineer had one time.
Yeah.
He's like, we can do this, and then
Everyone has missteps.
someone
Yeah.
someone ran with it, and that guy's super stoked. Which is, I mean, hey, that's cool. Does it need to be in there? No.
I would like to change profiles just by going like that with my
Yeah,
finger.
let me just
like in
pretend.
the air.
I'm controlling my
Yeah,
camera.
a little bit more presence. Wow.
So you think smaller?
I think it's got to be.
They've got to have the full unit in a smaller thing.
I mean, I'm looking at it. They've got 6. There's 2 rows of 6 foot switches.
Yes.
That's probably, they could probably do, the Quad Cortex has 2 rows of 5, but they're smaller. But then I don't know, do they keep the built-in foot pedal? I think that's the other thing
Right.
too.
A lot of people love that. There's definitely going to be a full floorboard, but you think smaller, maybe bigger than the HX Stomp, but that little brother version, but with all the functionality.
Yeah.
I think that's
more
interesting.
functionality than it currently has.
Yeah.
Right.
Improve and
Like
then
it
maintain
doesn't
all
have as
functionality.
much DSP as other things do.
Yeah.
Right. So it's got to have that. It's got to have. I mean, I think it has to sound better too, but that's just my own opinion. I don't think that there's not that many things in the HX Stomp that I think sound really good.
Yeah.
Right. And this is coming from a guy who loves to buy cheap guitars. Right. Like that's just my own opinion.
Is it getting harder to differentiate? Like what we're saying, I agree. Touchscreen, smaller, more powerful. But like what hits me is none of these things are revolutionary. We're basically saying make the product better. But that doesn't like.
It's kind of like asking, what do you want in the newest, Galaxy smartphone from Samsung?
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like, do you want it to fold in half?
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Right.
Who wants that really?
Right.
Right. So we're really splitting hairs at this point. Everyone's got touch screen, or everyone's got like big screen. It's really, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about, what is it optimized for? Is it optimized for the stage, or is it optimized for your desk?
It's starting to feel like the new iPhone, right? You take every new iPhone, you compare it to the last iPhone, and everyone's always disappointed. There's really not new features in each iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
But you take an iPhone 15 and you compare it to an iPhone 1 or 2, this is a totally different device. The capability is through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They're huge changes in actually a short period of time. 14 years, 13 years.
Yeah.
It's a huge change,
Yeah.
but we're watching every iteration happen. People aren't into replacing their model or every year like your iPhone or whatever, because there's not that backwards compatibility where new stuff is then supported on every old one, for a while like it is with a phone. But what if it is? What if something comes out that's more premium than the Helix and we see the Helix drop to $1299 and that becomes, hey, we have a unit. We were making new stuff for it. Because this is kind of how Pod Go's working. They're making new effects for Helix, and then they don't always get to Pod Go, but sometimes they do. Now, Pod Go users will complain, yeah, it's been 8 months. We haven't got any of those new effects. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, yeah, okay, here's 2 of the new delays that we put on the Helix. Maybe it's not everything, but the stuff that we're developing for this more premier thing, we are giving you some of it in product support. Could a better unit come out with more DSP, increased functionality, all the functionality basically of the Helix, but more functionality? And I'll tell you, that reminds me of the DL. Do you remember the DL4, all those pedals? It made its way into the M9, which is still sitting there in the Helix.
Yeah.
Look, it's all, but
legacy.
The bigger thing though about these types of units is the CPUs. Like the reason that the delays don't come out for the Pod Go right away,
of course, yeah,
it's because it's probably a different architecture, like the software. And so, and the thing, when you talk about like iPhone's a great example, because what's the cost? What's the cost of hammering the CPU more on your phone over time? What does everyone complain about?
Battery life.
Your battery life, right? If you have a 5-year-old iPhone, everything works perfectly except your battery only lasts for half the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What if only half of your guitar signal came out the other end? Right? It's like, it's a non-negotiable.
Yes.
Everything has to come out perfectly.
Yes.
Right? And if you start dropping frames,
Yeah.
right? People will not use the product at all. They'll
Right.
say this is completely unusable.
What if a whole delay repeat just fell out?
Exactly.
But
Ready to go.
And so that's the thing. Like with these older units and the smaller units, that's the limitation.
Right.
Is everyone wants the same things, but you can't go upgrade the DSP
Right.
and the CPU after the fact. And so that's why, things like things like the Fender, what's it called?
Tone Master.
The Tone Master are coming out with more DSP than anything ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're using newer chips, way newer chips
and that's the thing.
11 years.
Yeah. And so if they're smart, they've already figured out how to get more out of those things in the future with software updates because they can't update the hardware.
And conversely, like what you're saying, actually, I think really makes me even more convinced that they will leave all this legacy stuff in, because the newer unit will run the older Helix models like that, which is, we're still playing the same delays, if you pull them up, as we played on the DL4.
Yeah,
The original DL4. Like those are in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the original reverbs. How often are we using the 63 spring?
Seldom.
No, but come on. There's a spring verb, or I'm saying it's
right.
common. There's a 63 spring in there, and there's a spring reverb.
Yeah.
If you want a spring reverb, is there a dynamic spring?
There's a new dynamic spring.
No, but that's
I
the
guess,
dual spring. That's almost like a
a new algorithm.
It's not even like a classic spring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like supposed to be more malleable and
Over
stuff
the
and sound
top,
different.
yeah.
But like I'm saying, the main spring is the same one I used in like 06
for sure.
on my M9. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and it's fine. It is. But yeah, those things become easier to do because of the new chips.
Yeah.
Now the CPU is working like it's nothing. It's like having a vacation.
Exactly. And so that means that you can get more lanes, right? You can get more things happening simultaneously, or you can get, more of the same thing, but it won't make it sound any better.
Is it all just a laptop eventually?
Well, it is a laptop now.
Is it all just your phone then? Like my phone's at the gig. No one's ever going to say, you're carrying your phone on the stage? My phone's always in my pocket. Like it's never without. It'd be weird if I left my phone off the stage.
Yeah.
And if I don't have it with me, I'm thinking, oh, shoot, did I silence it? Where is it? Is it all just going to be on my phone?
Well, I mean,
does it all get so small that we don't even carry gear anymore? And it's just like,
for sure,
I run everything from my phone?
I mean, you could have GarageBand on your phone.
And
I
my
think
phone,
that you technically could do that today.
And my phone is already my monitor. Or my phone's already my control for my monitor mix. Yeah. And there is
for the pedal too.
Yeah. There is a monitor that runs from your phone.
Look, I mean, the chips inside our phones these days are astounding, right? So the games that they're able to play, you just convert that into, it's the same math.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking about the iPhone thing, and I think the upgrade from my flip phone to an iPhone was like mind-boggling. The fact that I could, used to try to get on the internet, it took me 20 minutes to go to like one site on the flip phone, to like iPhone Gen 1. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So that was my jump from playing, the Bean, line 6 or whatever, to a Kemper was like, oh my gosh, what in the world just happened, right?
Right.
But the difference between my experience playing a Kemper now and 6 years ago is not that different. A couple delays, couple reverbs.
Sure.
So even the way you frame the question,
in fairness, more than a couple.
Yes.
Dozens of new effects. Okay.
Yeah, but the profiles,
cab model,
they all sound good.
But it sounded great then. It sounds great now.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And so I've made, and you're saying we do this incrementally with the products, right? They get a little bit better, but over time you look and say, wow, that's a big change. So the way you framed the question was Helix 2 comes out. What features are in it, which I thought was so interesting, because it's like now we're talking about features more than we're talking about the sound of it. Because it's, I think that and there were a lot of comments about that in our video about the ToneMaster Pro, is like, basically, do you want a touch screen? Do you not? Do you want them to look like pedals? Do you not? I mean, it's like
there's not as much differentiation. Yeah.
And it's like pick your poison. I think was a lot of what people were saying was like the sound is what it is. And you just get into any of them. And so I'm sitting here thinking, what would I need from a Helix 2 to sound better than the Helix now? I don't know. That's why I said capture. I think that's the limitation, is if I want my amp, my matchless 3015 I played for 10 years. If I wanted that amp,
which is available. It's called the Sousa's 3015.
Yes.
It's available.
I could tone match it, but it's different than making. I'm getting a model or whatever like that. We actually captured it and put it in the Kemper. I will always prefer that. I think to line 6 gave me an AC30.
We should tone match it, by the way. Make that available.
We really should.
There
though.
we go. Yeah.
There's so many ideas coming out.
So many ideas.
So that's kind of where my brain's at. Is like it could do cooler stuff and look cooler doing it.
Yes.
But what is actually making me sell the old one and get the new one? I don't. I thought that about a Kemper too.
Right.
It's like, oh, this one has, 2 profiles at once or what, it's like, would I ditch? I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Given all that new stuff coming out, new platforms, new people have come on the scene. It used to be Line 6 and Kemper and Axe, right? And Fractal. Now, Quad Cortex. You can't talk about it without talking about Quad Cortex.
Yeah.
Tonocracy is now this new thing. Neural amp modeler. We see these softwares. ToneX, obviously. How does that get? It's always going to be in the conversation. In the end, what we've seen is this space get more fragmented. Who wins in the end?
I just had a guy text me over the week. I was gone last week. And he texted me and said, man, he's like, I don't know anyone in my life that has played all these units except you. Like, you've spent all the time on all these units and have actually heard them. What do you play in these days? I said, I play the Kemper. That's it for me, And I think a lot of it is that I'm so used to it. I have so many things that I've made for it that I think, okay, ToneMaster Pro, it's like I have 0 now. I'd have to start from the beginning, go make all my presets again, go find all the amps I like, go test all of the things I've tested endlessly on the Kemper. And I told him that. I said, so if you're coming in brand new and fresh, man, I don't know. That's a hard decision, because it's like you have it's almost like me getting into video editing. It's like, there's Premiere, there's Resolve, there's Final Cut Pro. I don't know. I don't have any of these. So it's like wherever you just land,
right?
You land there, you learn it, and then you run with it. So for me, it's Kemper. That's the answer to the question. But for someone brand new coming in and they're like, oh, I love my Quad Cortex. It's like, then commit to it and make sounds that you love and just play the thing. You know?
I think they all sound great.
Yeah.
I think they all sound great enough and good enough to play wherever you're going to play.
Yeah.
If you're playing on, Broadway in Nashville, if you're playing at a church, if you're playing in a band, like they all sound great. I think it really is. It's a matter of like, what have you invested more time in?
Yeah.
I remember hearing a review a long time ago from like, I don't know, it was like an older iPhone release, but it was like comparing the latest iPhone release to the latest, Google Plus or whatever it is. And it's basically like, look, if you've spent more money on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, like just stick with whatever you have.
Funny, yeah.
Like the features are the same these days. And like everyone's going to say, oh, Apple's always late to have all of these things, right? They were late to have this, refresh rate, or they were late to have this, whatever. It's like, fine. At the end of the day, they all do what you want them to do. And there's no like clear, oh, this one's miles ahead.
Right.
I don't think, right? I've heard demos of the Quad Cortex that sound incredible.
Right.
I also think maybe it's also, the only caveat to that I would say is what style of music you're playing. And
that's true.
Like if you really love, the way some, hard metal guys set up their stuff on Quad Cortex and they've made that available, then it's like, well, yeah, that's going to sound great, or if you really love, Tone Junkie is obviously, Tone Junkie excels at like the mid gain, right? Like
it's only cleans, John. We only make cleans.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
It's like, if you want like a tube amp, on halfway sound, like Tone Junkie, like you have done all of them.
All of them. I do them all at 10
Right?
too. I just don't do the
No, you're
heavy
not
stuff
scooping
is
the
not-
mids.
yeah,
You're not
yeah,
aiming
yeah.
for that metal
Yeah.
audience. And so that's the other thing too. It's like if you've got, I'm sure the same type of thing exists for the Helix. If you've got content creators who are pumping out presets for Helix that you love, then and that's meshing with your style of music and stuff. And I think that's what it's about too.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I'm going to say that in the end, ToneX wins. Now, I never think people are all going to go out of business.
Yeah.
But I do think ToneX is going to replace things as the professional alternative. Maybe. Fender is going to, and all these manufacturers are going to realize we don't want to, we'll never replace Axe Effects and Kemper. We'll never be the professional solution. And also there's more money in being in the middle. We make more money selling Mexican Fenders than we do custom shop stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's always going to be that way. And they're Fender, and they're always going to go, they're going to have distribution, and they're going to win based on that. Right? Open up a store and don't carry Fender.
Yeah.
You better give lessons. You know what I mean? And they better be piano lessons. But Fender's going to win on distribution, right? So they can bring whatever products to the middle of the market, the budget market, to the upper end of the market, sure. But look how you can see from Fender's distribution. If you're a Fender dealer, you're not a Fender custom shop dealer. That's a different dealer network,
Right. Yeah.
right? And there are some shops, a lot of shops who just carry Kemper, Fender custom shop. They're not touching any other Fender products. That's below where their customers are, And so, but to me, here's the thing. ToneX walks in this door already having software expertise. And that's where I think everyone else is struggling. Everybody else is developing a technology, making a hardware, and software is the thing they're trying to make. But I think increasingly going forward, software is the thing that matters. And like we're seeing from Moore, like we're seeing from all these other people who are making all this stuff, it would appear the ability to make the hardware is becoming less and less the challenge. It looks like you can go to the Far East and get someone to make the hardware for you. And you can spec it out, and now it's up to your software. And ToneX walks in having IK already had a big business modeling everything, not just guitar. Now, this also might be why they don't win, because at the end of the day, they don't view the guitar market as the thing to win. They just want to be there competing. But ToneX, I know, has been a crazy kind of accidental success. Like they didn't think it was going to be this successful because their modeling stuff is already where all their stuff was. Were any of us playing? What is it even called? Guitar rig?
IK Guitar Rig 5 or whatever.
Amplitude.
Amplitude.
That's it. Amplitude 5. We're not using that stuff. I'm not using that. People who are doing like home production and using it already have IK as like, there's Universal Audio. I heard IK makes this thing. I can run this plugin. I don't even know if they're the top of the market in that space, that plugin space, but they already have approached this with software that is super extensive. They already have all the modeling built out. So you know where they're going with ToneX is we already have the ToneX product. We're going to add it to our modeling. They have to be coming out with a Helix type unit, a big floorboard unit that has their ToneX stuff, but with all the Amplitude stuff in
Delays,
it.
reverb.
They have all of it already modeled. It's
So
already
I have
modeled.
a question. So I was talking to the same guy about this because he asked me too, like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Then I said, well, have you tried ToneX? Because that's been what I've been super impressed with. And he likes his pedal board. So I was like, man, that's like a no-brainer. Like you throw that on your board.
Yeah.
His question was ToneX the first product that IK did that was capture tech? Because you're talking about model this, model that.
It's the first capture tech they've done
for them.
Yeah.
Okay, because he was like, oh yeah, I've played IK stuff and didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I was like, but that's new. Like that.
Yeah.
That's a new step. And
Yeah.
that's the first time I've been like, whoa, listen to this thing.
So ToneX came out shortly after IK really made their first pedals. They took some of their delay and reverb stuff from the software and they were like, let's make this into a pedal. And they did that and it just quietly sort of went for like under a year.
Yeah.
And then ToneX popped out.
Okay.
And really the ToneX software popped up first. I think the challenge for them is this. If they had realized what a success ToneX would have been, I'm not sure they would have designed this product. I think they would have probably put it into Amplitude and we wouldn't have taken it that seriously. They sort of gave us a Trojan horse product that like IK wasn't huge in the guitar players world. We were not falling over the IK delay and the IK reverb. All of a sudden this Trojan horse comes in and it's like, sounds like the amp, sounds like any amp you want. Captures are easy to trade, easy to buy, easy to sell. Now they have their own marketplace, right? Which we're on, by the way. And right there on your pedal board. Don't change anything. The next thing for them to do is, here's ToneX. We're going to add some modeling capability in there. And now it's your ToneX Plus. If you want delays and verbs, we can do that too. If you want, how much better would the ToneX be if I could just have, if there were 4 different boosts modeled? If I could have a TS9, a Klon, a clean boost, and like something else. And I could just make one of my things foot switchable. Now it's almost like, okay, well, that just added a lot of functionality. Now it's almost like my ToneX compressor, ToneX, and like a delay reverb unit, it's all covered. I don't even need, you know what I mean? And then you start adding that stuff in. It feels like a Helix type product from them is inevitable. Like any day now.
For sure.
Yeah. Any day.
Yeah, it seems like maybe talking about form factor too, because the ToneX is very small, right? I'm looking at it. It's got 3 buttons on it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's not a whole lot of like stage flexibility, right? I feel like maybe something in the future that they'll produce is like a rack mount type unit.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting here thinking like
but they don't need a rack mount. You run everything in your computer.
Well, but here's what I'm saying is that I was thinking like, why don't you just plug in your laptop to a floorboard?
Yeah.
And like now you can get, because there's so many plugins and stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Your laptop is also where you check your email.
Yeah.
And it's also where you...
But they're not going to do that because so they've already made this like really intelligent distinction. If I don't build the GPU capability into the pedal, all I need is this simple ability to be able to reproduce these sounds. Take all the hard work of making this, of the neural network, throw it on the computer.
Yeah.
Computer's out. But what they've given us now is they're the only ones who really have a solution where it's like, if you're in the studio at your computer, your exact sounds. Take that with you. It's the exact sound.
Right.
Being played with you. What they haven't given us yet is all of the Amplitude stuff taken with you.
That's my point.
Okay,
my point is like, if you have a rack mount unit or something like the size of like a guitar head, right?
Right.
Like that opens you up to having basically any number of effects, any number of whatever.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all about DSP.
Yeah.
And so your computer is not the place. Like no one wants to bring their MacBook Pro out on the stage with them, right?
Yeah.
Not only do those things cost way more than all of this does, right? But it's dual purpose, or it's multi-purpose, right? And you don't want like, your messages ringtone coming through your guitar tone.
Yeah,
right?
my wife twice has edited our grocery shared note while we've been,
exactly.
it's
right.
like all
So
these notifications.
it's too. So you want it to be isolated, but you don't want the computational effort of making the things can be offloaded onto the computer.
Yeah,
and that's where I feel like the hybrid approach would actually work.
I think
they're going to
come out with, I think, a pedal board and a larger unit than the ToneX. Like something that is quad Cortex-esque, but also the full all-in-one pedal board. I think that's got to be coming next.
Yeah.
They already teased at NAMM their cab. They had the cab, and they said it's not in production. We're experimenting with this stuff. And so to me, I feel like they have the expertise. They've already done the hardest stuff, which is their software is really good. It's already all modeled. And here's the thing. They can go places other people aren't going. They already have all the channel strips done. They already have reverbs that are studio quality reverbs. That's what they sell. Like they already do drums and percussion. They already do all this stuff. So for them, adding a channel strip in, adding stuff at the board, adding all that stuff is just easy to, it's just like super easy to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only the best here on the Guitar Friends.
What happened, HW?
Oh, the batteries went out. That means it's definitely time to end. That means definitely time to end.
Yep.
This has been Guitar Friends episode 8.
Yeah.
And I've been HW.
Ben Seuss.
I've been a lot of different things.
Yeah, really, it's so true.
Who's John? John, why don't you play us out? Actually, yes, John, why don't you play us out on your brand new $230 guitar?
Hey.
It sounds this good.